I'm meeting with every type of lawyer, from a lawyer who helps when you get pulled over to one who helps when you win the lottery. Today, I'm asking each of them for one legal hack, hacks that could one day save your life. Starting at a testing site where we're going to see a real car crash, then break down the legal steps you have to take if you're ever in one. And by the way, this was filmed on a closed test track with a professional driver, a safety crew, and a medic. Do not attempt this at home. This is just an educational demonstration. All right, let's do this. Man, my heart's racing. Oh, jeez. That's insane! Oh my gosh. All right, Aslan, if I was in a crash like this, what is one of the first things I should do?
Well, first things first, make sure that nobody's injured. Call 911 if necessary, because safety's first. And from a legal standpoint, do not say I'm sorry.
In many US states, apology laws protect simple expressions of sympathy, but the safest approach is to stick with the facts.
It's instinctual to try to apologize, but depending on where you live, it could actually be held against you.
So if I'm here taking pictures, what should I focus on?
Well, you should obviously take a picture of the vehicle at its point of rest, and you should take pictures of as much damage to the vehicle as you can. The interior of the vehicle could give a lot of clues as well. If you can, you might even want to take a picture of the driver that was involved in the collision.
What about taking pictures of your injuries?
Oh, absolutely. Visible injuries are key at the scene of a collision because they show that you are actually hurt.
It's important to take pictures because some injuries will fade, so you want to take pictures right away. How else can you build a stronger case?
Well, it's always a good idea to call the police and ask them to please prepare a report. The police can be instrumental in taking witness statements, and these witnesses can disappear, within a couple days. Police can also take their own photographs and video of the scene of the incident, which may be crucial in reconstructing what happened at the time of the crash. Another good tip would be to look around at nearby businesses to see if any of them have surveillance cameras, because a lot of times gas stations and gyms that are nearby the scene of an accident have those cameras, and they show you exactly how the accident happened.
So don't say sorry, document everything, and try to get a police report whenever possible. But what if you're driving home and those red and blue lights pop up behind you? I'm here with Pablo Pinasco. He's helped thousands of people get out of speeding tickets, and we went to law school together. Thanks for being here, Pablo. So tell me, Pablo, what do you do when the cops are behind you like this?
First, don't start digging around too soon. Moving early makes you look suspicious. Wait for the officer to get to the car and ask for permission.
Don't reach without asking for permission. It's important for your safety and to keep the officers calm.
Yeah, they might think you're hiding something or reach you for a weapon. You want to keep the officer comfortable and keep yourself safe.
Any other tips to not get that speeding ticket?
Yeah, you don't want to make yourself a target, so limo tint is a bad idea. A sticker that says "catch me if you can," I wouldn't put that on my car.
All right, Pablo, let's say the officer writes me a ticket. Here it is. What should I look for?
So you want to make sure you check the important information. Is your name right? Are they writing the right type of violation? Did they leave any important information off the ticket? Any of these things could get your case dismissed. I've seen a lot of tickets where people are cited for the wrong violation, and they can't fix that if you're at court at trial. It's too late. You get a dismissal.
So check your ticket. Any other tips for getting your ticket dismissed?
The easiest way is if the cop doesn't show up. In a lot of courts, you get a chance to get an extension. Use that extension, delay the case, and maybe the cop forgets about it, and you win.
Thanks, Pablo.
Thanks, Mike.
After that, I headed to a nearby convenience store to meet up with a lottery lawyer. He's gonna walk us through what to do if you ever win millions. I'm here with Gary Markarian, a lottery and tax attorney. Now, Gary, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm a tax attorney and I help clients that have large amounts of money. They might have earned it through work, they might have won it through the lottery. Rule 1, don't tell anybody that doesn't absolutely need to know that you just won the lottery. And then get your team together. You're gonna want a tax attorney, an accountant, financial advisor, and an estate planning attorney.
And posting on social media, bad idea, right?
Definitely. You're letting everybody know that you have all this new money. You wanna keep it a secret. You wanna get it organized. And then if you wanna help some of your friends and family, that's one thing. But you're posting it everywhere, giving your information out as this newly rich person.
Now, some states don't allow you to be anonymous when claiming your lottery winning. What do you do in that situation?
Well, for example, in California, the lottery board actually assists you with your media outlets and appearances. So if you don't have a choice, might as well work with them, get it all done in one shot, as they say.
All done in one shot because the goal is to kind of get the minimal amount of media exposure and then move on?
Yes, exactly, and that's what they say on their website, the California lottery winners.
So the question I always get is, should you do lump sum or annuity, and what's the difference?
So you go to the lottery, you give them the winning ticket, they give you two options. First option is the annuity. You get to get paid that full sum over a 30-year term. Second option is a lump sum. It's more attractive. You get it right now, but there's a penalty. You won't get paid the, let's say, $100 million winnings. They will only give you 50 million of it instead of having to pay you out over 30 years.
So you basically just get half.
Not even. The IRS is a winner in this too, and so they're gonna take about 30% of their taxes. You're not even gonna get half of that. You're lucky with a quarter.
Wow, so you win $1 million, you get 250,000.
On a good day, yeah.
Which option is better to take then?
And I think that's where your team comes into play. They're going to advise you based on your current financial situation, your assets, your debts. They'll look at a plan, explain the pros and cons of each, and help figure out what's best for you when you do win.
And what about just in general, which way do you lean?
I'd take it all up front right now.
And what's the reason for that?
I want my cash now. I don't have that patience.
So what's the advantage of taking the lump sum?
You get to pay off all your debts. You have some spending money. You want to buy a new house, a new car, a new watch, whatever you want. Splurge a little and invest the rest. Whether that's real property, houses, apartments, that's stocks, it's crypto. You have that investment vehicle. You have that extra cash to really grow and make it bigger and better.
All right, so basically keep quiet, build a team, and choose a lump sum. Thank you so much, Gary.
Of course.
Our next lawyer is a criminal defense lawyer, and he's going to walk us through what to do if you're being questioned by the police.
And looking in this room, this looks pretty similar to what an interrogation room might look like. There definitely would not be any windows. It would be very stale. It would be very cold, and it would be very, very unfriendly. They would sit directly across from you. And so as soon as you walk into this room, even when you're by yourself, they are already recording you and they are already watching you.
All right, Matt, so what do you do?
I've been an attorney over 20 years now, and for the past 5 years, I've been a criminal defense attorney. I represent anyone that hires me that's been charged with any kind of crime.
If a viewer finds themselves in an interrogation room like this, what sort of tips would you give them?
Number one, always remember that police officers are not on your team. That's the very first thing to remember. No matter how many times they tell you, I'm here to help you, or I can help you, it's all part of a ploy to help prove their case. And that's why there's a Miranda admonition in the beginning advising you of your rights, because they are going to use this against you.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they tell you. You can get a lawyer, and obviously you should get a lawyer before you start giving into the interrogation. What other tips do you have?
So as being not on your team, one of the things they're allowed to do is use a ruse. And a ruse is a trick. And they will try to get you to believe that something either exists or doesn't exist to get you to make some sort of admission or a confession. They'll say, we've got your DNA, or we've got your fingerprint, or so-and-so already told me that you did something. All of that can be a lie, a blatant lie, and there's no repercussions for that because it's intended to elicit or get you to talk to them, and they're allowed to use those tricks.
So what is one of your best tips to protect ourselves from that?
I tell all my clients, say nothing. There's no rule that you have to respond to them. There's no law that says you have to answer their questions, even if you're innocent, because the person sitting across from you isn't looking at you through the lenses of innocence.
What about phone calls from jail?
They listen to them. I have had many cases with hours and hours and hours of phone conversations. And what they'll do is they will listen to every minute of it if it's a kind of case they want to do that on, and they will find that little nugget where you tell your mom, I'm so sorry, I can't believe I did this. Don't talk about your case in custody.
Thank you, Matthew. Let's get out of this dingy room and check out the next lawyer.
Hey, Law by Mike.
Hey, how you doing, Devin? Love your channel.
Thanks, likewise.
Can you first tell me what type of law you focus on?
Yeah, I am a civil litigator and trial lawyer, so I don't tend to focus on one particular aspect of the law. It's really anything that gets me in court, and I'm the guy that's telling the court why my client should win.
What is a tip that you could give to our younger viewers that want to start a business?
The best thing that you can usually do is to create a separate LLC. It's not necessary to create a business, but I think that there are a lot of advantages in setting up a separate LLC.
So one of the advantages is that it's also a liability shield, right?
Right, exactly. If someone eventually files a lawsuit against your company, they're limited to the assets of that company itself, and they can't go after your own personal assets. But that's why it's so important to keep your business and your personal life separate, because otherwise, if you commingle the assets and the liabilities, then it's possible that someone who is suing your business might be able to what's called pierce the corporate veil and go after your own personal assets.
Now, Devin, sometimes lawsuits can get intense. Are there any many ways of avoiding court altogether.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very common thing in contracts to include what's called a dispute resolution, mediation clause, or an arbitration clause. That means that if there is a dispute with you and the other party that you have a contract with, you can go to mediation, which is non-binding, and you can get a neutral third party to try to mediate that dispute. If that doesn't work, instead of going to court, which could take years and years and be extremely expensive, you could go to arbitration, where again, there is a neutral third party, but that time the decision of the neutral third party is binding on the two parties.
Really great points. It's a way to save some time and money rather than always going to court.
But it's always important that if you are served with a lawsuit to never ignore it. Because even if a lawsuit is completely baseless, if you ignore it, that can lead to something called default judgment, where the court will say, because you didn't show up, you lose. And that can lead to bad consequences.
One last tip I know my viewers want to know, is a handshake deal valid?
You'd actually be surprised how often contracts are valid, even if it's just a verbal agreement or a handshake deal. Now, that being said, just because a verbal or oral agreement is enforceable doesn't mean that you can actually prove that the agreement exists. If you have it in writing, then it's way easier to show that this agreement actually exists.
Man, those are some great tips. Create an LLC, don't ignore your lawsuits, and get an agreement in writing if you can. Thanks so much for being here.
Glad to be here. Glad I could help.
Next, we're about to go undercover to watch a legal expert negotiate live.
And today he's taking on one of the most high-stake negotiations people face, buying a car. So Zeno, what are some of the 3 techniques you're going to use today?
Well, number 1, I'm going to point out all the weaknesses. Number 2, I'm going to be silent. And number 3, I'm going to make the sale.
All right, I'm going to hop in the surveillance van while you try to negotiate this used car.
All right, let's do it.
All right, he's mic'd up, we got a glasses cam on him, and we're watching everything from inside this van.
I am looking for rust. I'm looking for cracks, paint chips, redone tires that don't match the vehicle. I'm also looking for old cars, 2004, 2005. Perfect, a dent in the panel. All right, I'm ready for him. Remember, Mike, whoever speaks first loses. How you doing, sir?
How can I help you? Sammy, nice to meet you.
Zeno, nice to meet you.
Today's sponsor is MyHeritage, an online platform that helps you connect with your family roots and feel a deeper sense of belonging.
This Mustang here, what's the price?
This car is 14,000.
14.
It's a GT stick shift, no accident, no damage, one owner car.
Always thought I was Italian. Turns out after using the MyHeritage family tree feature, my family doesn't have any Italian. Instead, by looking up records like my great aunt's marriage certificate, I found out that my great grandfather Hyman was a Russian immigrant who immigrated to Massachusetts in 1906 to found his own tailor shop, which is now a law office. In seconds, I can just add any family member to my tree and get a clear, easy to understand view of my entire family lineage.
What's the mileage?
86,000. Pretty low for the year.
MyHeritage Instant Discovery feature even allowed me to use their records and other members' information to fill a branch of my family tree, a result that comes from their 90 million members and 33 billion historical records. Because of this, I even found out that my great-grandfather on my dad's side was a fruit vendor, something I never knew.
I noticed here a little dent in the panel. No worries. Is there a price you could come down to?
MyHeritage also helped me find a picture of my great-great-uncle's World War I draft registration, and the In Color feature even allowed me to take an old black and white photo of my grandparents and transform it into a vibrant colorized version. The best part, it's easy to use, and if you click my personal link, they'll give you a full 2 weeks free. Click the link and start building your family tree today.
Yeah, I can take a couple hundred off, but you gotta consider the car is 20 years old. So it can't be perfect. All used cars, you're gonna find little issues.
Understood. Couple hundred, huh? So what we're talking?
I can do 13.5, take 500 off for you.
Interesting. Thank you. Thank you. Couple paint chippings right here.
So pointing out the defects didn't work for him.
So I'm looking to buy this for my wife. It'd be a gift, and her birthday is coming up in a couple of days. So, I'm willing to pay cash. Hey, what more price can come down to?
You have a number in mind?
I was thinking 12,800. Taxes and fees, of course.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of low for me. I can do 13, make it close for you.
My budget's 12,800. Is that doable?
No, unfortunately, that's the best I can do.
Understood. Remember, Mike, you gotta be willing to walk away. My wife will be disappointed. Thank you, sir.
What was your name?
Zeno.
Zeno. So if I can make it 12.8, you want to buy it today?
Yes, sir. In cash. Can we make a deal? Brother, thank you.
No worries.
He didn't chase and still got the price to drop. Negotiation, that's how it's done. Up next, a lawyer that can help you get out of a parking ticket. All right, so I have a parking ticket. What's the first thing I should do?
The first thing you should do is check for errors. The date, time are off, make, model, color of your car are wrong. Any of those types of mistakes could invalidate the ticket.
So what other things should you look for other than the errors on the ticket?
You can look to see about the scene of if the paint's missing from the curb, if the meter's not working, if the sign's not properly marked.
What should you do if you notice those things?
You should write those down in your appeal and make sure that you get pictures that you can show the company later.
So what about if none of that works?
If none of that works, you want to try to get a court date where you come to court with your evidence, make sure you're dressed nice, and present your case in front of a judge.
All right, so check for errors, take pictures of your surroundings, and show up to court dressed nice. That will give you the best chance of beating this ticket. Thank you, Ryan.
You're welcome.
You got me on this, right?
I got you.
See.
Next, I headed to a school to find out what rights students actually have.
So tell me, Joshua, what exactly do you do?
Well, I'm a criminal lawyer, but a lot of my work deals with students who get in trouble and violating school rules.
So what are some legal tips that you would give to students, parents, or family members when it comes to school-related issues?
Well, one of the things that happens quite often is that they'll get their phones taken away from them. First thing you should do is ask, when will I get it back, and can you let my parents know? Teachers can take your phone if they feel like you're violating one of the school rules, but they cannot keep it forever.
And how about actually teachers going through your phone?
Well, they need something called reasonable suspicion to do that. In other words, they have to have seen you do something that they think is either breaking a rule or committing a crime to actually get into your phone. And you should be specific and say, I do not consent to any search of my phone.
That will help you later and prevent, your teachers going through your phones. When is it time to get a lawyer involved, and when is it a better step to report it to the principal first?
I think getting lawyers involved is probably the last step, and it's probably after you've exhausted all of your other options, and that usually has to do when the punishment that the student may be receiving is something that they can't work themselves back from. Like suspensions are one thing, but if we're talking about a kid who's going to be removed from the school, expelled from the school, that's usually when you get a lawyer involved.
Any other tips for our viewers out there?
Don't try to solve these problems yourself. If you don't agree with the punishment, you think it's unfair, maybe you're right, but your reaction to it could get you into further trouble. So sometimes it's best to just let it play out, explain it to your parents, and later on see if they can't unwind what's been done.
It's easy to feel powerless as a student, but knowing your rights makes all the difference. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Our next lawyer is a judge, and he's going to walk us through exactly what to do if you ever end up in court.
Judge Sarmiento, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
Can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was an attorney for 8 years. I was on the bench doing civil and criminal for 26 years. The last 11 years I've been a private judge doing mediations here in Los Angeles County.
Wow, that's over 40 years of experience.
Yeah, I guess I'm getting old.
In all that time, what's been the most memorable case?
Well, I think the criminal cases were always the most memorable. Back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, we were doing a lot of can cases here in Los Angeles County, multiple homicides, those kinds of things. Those are very memorable.
Wow. Judge Sarmiento, for anyone heading to court, what are some of your best tips?
All right, the first thing is, if you're going in for traffic or for small claims, be as concise as you possibly can. The judge, I guarantee you, has a huge calendar. He's got tons of cases. He does not have time to listen to a rambling exposition and discussion of what happened to you that day. Just get right to the point. The judge will appreciate it. The judge will like you. That works in your favor.
All right, keep it concise, no long stories. Any other tips?
What the judge is saying, the questions he or she is asking, the way it's going, the overall. If you think you're ahead, if you think the judge likes what you're saying, if the judge likes your case, stop. Don't say anything. All you're going to do is hurt yourself. You might be likely to say something that'll change the judge's mind. If you're ahead, stop. Quit while you're ahead is the thing to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's a great tip. I know that from my own experience. If it looks like you're winning, shut up.
Yeah, big thing, it goes along with being concise and brief. Answer only the question that's being asked. If the judge asks you, what color was the car that crashed into you? One word, the color, maybe 2 words, light yellow, whatever it is, but just get right to the point. If you go on and ramble and say other things, you're likely to say something that's going to work against you and hurt you.
These are great tips and really can help viewers out there, because knowing how to present your case can make all the difference when you actually show up in court. Judge Sarmiento, what about how people are dressed?
Well, from my point of view, I really try to be a fair-minded person. I don't like to judge people by their appearance. However, you want to be appropriately dressed when you come to court. You don't have to wear a suit and tie, but you should look appropriate. You'd be something you would wear that if you want to be respectful. I would advise showing up in a tank top and cargo shorts. You want to make a good presentation.
And it can still go a long way for you if you dress respectfully to have the judge on your side in that respect, right?
Yeah, don't forget, the idea is to win. If the judge likes you, you got a better chance of winning. If the judge doesn't like you, We're humans.
Yeah.
The chances are it's going to make it tougher.
Just out of curiosity, you have any stories of maybe someone shouting at you or going crazy in the courtroom? Anything that was just total bad behavior?
As a judge, one of your responsibilities is to control the courtroom. And I think if you maintain control of the courtroom, I think the litigants, attorneys in front of you will respect that and they'll behave. People want to be professional for the most part. I've never held anybody in contempt, so I was lucky about that. I remember when I was a first year public defender, the first thing the guy teaching me said, somebody's got to control the courtroom. It's either going to be you, the prosecutor, or the judge. So I decided, well, if I'm the judge, it's better be me.
Yeah, makes sense. Anything else you want to tell the viewers?
Be concise, be respectful, don't interrupt, you'll be fine. Oh yeah, tell the truth. The judge thinks you're lying, you lose.
Yeah, that's always important. Always tell the truth. Thank you so much, Judge Sarmiento.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. But the video isn't over, as there's one more very important lawyer we need to talk with. It's me, Law by Mike, and my tip might just be the most important. Never ask a question you don't know the answer to. This is actually something that is drilled into us at law school for use in the courtroom, but in my opinion, it also applies to life in general. Because you see, when you're questioning a witness, negotiating a deal, or even advising a client, knowing the answers to the questions you are asking ensures you are the one controlling the situation, not reacting to it, which prevents you from being taken advantage of in all areas of life. For example, let's say you're about to rent a house and want to know the standard rate of rent increases. You pretend you don't know, but in reality, you've already researched the answer so that you can determine whether the landlord is trying to scam you. Or let's say you're at Walmart and ask the cashier whether they have a return policy, knowing full well they already do, and what the specific requirements are so that once again, you don't get taken advantage of. Simply put, always do your homework before putting yourself in a vulnerable situation. So there you have it, one ultimate hack from every type of lawyer. Hopefully you'll never need these, but if you do, you're now prepared, which probably can't be said for the YouTuber who committed a crime and got away with it. To watch that video, click here, subscribe, and thanks for watching.